Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all okay. I'm just editing this this vlog and I couldn't let it go on any further. I appreciate we're literally 2 seconds in. I couldn't let it go on any further without saying I'm so sorry for that god awful angle. I do go on to explain that I've got a new camera and I'm really getting used to it, and I don't think I quite realise how close up it is. So I'm really sorry that you can see like basically up my nostrils. But enjoy, and I promised I will get used to this camera. It's been, like, I probably don't even want to talk about it, but it's been quite a hiatus since the last time I recorded a video, and I can't even call it a hiatus because I didn't even really get started. But let's just ignore that. Where do I even start with what's happened? I'm going to intro this video by basically just explaining what's happened in my life and what's going to be happening going forward. So the last time I filmed, I don't even know if I was pregnant. I can't right now think if I've put a pregnancy vlog out. But basically, I am currently in the UK. I got back last week and I am, as you can probably tell, because I'm so out of breath, 31 weeks pregnant. I'm nearly 8 months pregnant. What? I'll give you a bump date in a moment. My full intention was to like vlog my entire pregnancy. I actually just haven't, so I'm gonna start as of now. I'm going to do a couple of videos basically recapping the last 8 months. Watch this space. Consistent vlogs from now on. Why am I in the UK? So I'm 31 weeks pregnant. That's that. I'm fine. We're having a boy. Amazing. So we are living in with our family. Charlie is currently in Dubai, but will be joining me at the end of July, so in 3 weeks time. For anyone who is new here, Charlie is my boyfriend, moved to Dubai in October. And then in December, I found out I was pregnant. Love you so much, but not planned. Biggest surprise ever, but the best things in life are surprises, right? Today, the reason I picked up my camera and thought, do you know what? Cut the shit, Freya. You need to crack on, is because I have my first antenatal appointment in the UK. So all of my care has been in Dubai, and it's different because everything there is consultant led. So I chose my consultant, well I kind of got given a consultant and then I just really liked him, at an English style hospital in Dubai. And I literally saw that consultant from 5 weeks up until the point that I left last week. I had an appointment every 4 weeks. I've had bloods just like I would in the UK, but obviously just a lot more because the UK, I think you only get 2 scans per pregnancy, and I've had 1 every 4 weeks, which has been amazing. So I've had that great care. I've then been emailed all of my notes, and then when I came back to the UK, I'm very much still registered in the UK, got my doctors and everything. So I registered my pregnancy, and I have my first antenatal clinic appointment, or whatever they're called. Charlie's sister is taking me and my little niece. Bump date. Also, complete side note, since I decided, right, Freya, crack on, you need to start vlogging, we bought a new vlogging camera, and we bought it's called, let me see if I can show you in the mirror, Digi Osmo Pocket thing, and that's what it looks like. I mean, I need to clean the mirror, but isn't that quite cool? It's really discreet. So I feel like half my problem was in Dubai, we have this massive fat camera, and I felt like an idiot walking around vlogging on that. So now that this is really compact and nice, I'm hoping that it works really well. Although I'm still yet to get used to the fact that the camera moves with you. So yeah, not sure about that. Give you a bump date, and then I'm going to walk to Tesco because I need to get some, oh my God, there's just so much. I need to get some food, and I pick my car up tomorrow. So I've been carless for the time that I've been here, which has only been a couple of days, pull yourself together, that's totally fine. But obviously walking like to and from the shop with loads of shopping, not ideal. So I've had to go like pretty much every day. And then I'm going to go to my appointment. So let me show you my bump. Okay, so I'm still yet to figure out the settings on this camera. So if it starts going everywhere, I do apologise. But here he is. Ignore the granny knickers as well. Nothing's glamorous anymore. But this is my 31-week bump. I'm managing to avoid this, not that stretch marks are a problem like at all. Is that even in focus? I managed to avoid the stretch marks at the moment, but he's definitely growing. I wouldn't say I found pregnancy as magical as I thought I would. But again, that's a different story for like another day, which I'll go, oh my God, I'm actually so out of breath. What the hell? What the helly? Jump scare. No makeup alert. It's the evening. And I had my appointment. Oh my God, you see that camera? It's like, it weirdly follows you, but sometimes it's a little bit delayed. Oh, let me purge. Let me purge. This fan, my saving grace right now. Like, I take it everywhere. And this. Got to avoid those blood clots, you know. Just thought I'd check in. I've just started editing the first bit of my vlog. Obviously didn't get to vlog much of the appointment, but it just didn't feel like that appropriate to obviously vlog it. Like, what I'm going to do tomorrow is sit down and actually go through like the reasons why we've decided to come to the UK now, and like how and why and how it's going to work and things like that. So yeah, I'm going to sit down and do that tomorrow. Today's appointment was essentially a catch up of like the last 30 weeks. I've had all my bloods in Dubai, my scans and things, but obviously the NHS might have different thresholds, and they might not trust the results of other places. So I had a set of bloods done. She felt the baby, and the position, and he is head down. Head's not in my pelvis, but it's down, and he's not back to back, which is amazing. And he was like that in my last scan, so he's staying there. Let's hope that he doesn't decide to flip. I need to just keep sitting on my ball to encourage him to stay there. She did my blood pressure and things like that, and just spoke through a couple of things, and then booked me in for my next appointment. But really it's quite low contact, the appointments here. You just see someone now, I think every like 3 or 4 weeks. So my next appointment is at 34 weeks. I just FaceTime Charlie just before he goes to bed. Well, I say just, I FaceTimed him about 2 hours ago because he's 3 hours ahead of me. So I'm going to get some sleep, and then I'll pick up the camera tomorrow and go through why we're giving birth in the UK. Like, guys, where do I begin? So back in December, I found out I was pregnant. Big shock. We were in Dubai, permanently moved to Dubai. I registered with the hospital there, and of course everything is private care over there. So we registered and paid for a maternity package because we knew that we'd like be having all of our antenatal care over there. I think that gave us like an early scan, and they wanted me to come in for an early scan just because of like a previous miscarriage, just to make sure everything was fine. We could have our NIPT test, which is like the genetic testing blood test that they do, and it can also tell you the gender. And then obviously 12-week scan, and we had then a scan every 4 weeks, which is different to the UK, where you have obviously a scan at just 12 weeks and 20 weeks unless you pay privately. And that's all consultant led. So I saw the same consultant who was amazing every single time, every 4 weeks. And also it's mad because he was literally just on my WhatsApp. Like, I have his number, and any questions that I had at all, anytime I would just like WhatsApp him and he'd get back to me. It was so casual. Fantastic. Obviously that does mean that any complications, any medication and things we have to pay for, but you know, we're so aware of that. We moved to Dubai knowing that. So there was a couple of times like I've needed quite a lot of anti-sickness during my pregnancy. But when you moved to a country that has privatised healthcare, of course, it's a really good idea to get health insurance, which we did immediately. We got a really good health insurance package. I think it cost us around £400 a month, which is quite a lot, but we were kind of insured for everything except pregnancy. And the reason that we weren't covered for the pregnancy is because Charlie and I are not married. So obviously we've moved to a Muslim country where they believe that you should not have children outside of marriage, and we totally respect that. And a part of that is that your insurance voids your maternity if you are not married. So we are having to obviously pocket all of our care. Again, is what it is, fine. We'd obviously had conversations then with the consultant and between Charlie and I about where we wanted to give birth, and there were a lot of factors. Being honest, one of the main factors was just the lack of support that we have out there. So like none of our family live out there. We hardly know anyone. We know a couple of people through sort of business, but not necessarily through personal life. And I just didn't feel very keen to have my baby in a place where my dad isn't here, my close friends and family aren't here, Charlie's sister isn't here, and I didn't like the thought of that. So that was one of the main reasons that we chose to come over. Of course, there is a financial element in terms of a maternity and delivery package in the hospital of our choice really wasn't that bad. Like it was, I don't know, I think it was like 7,000 for a normal vaginal delivery of no complications and about 10 grand for a C-section. But the problem is, if then there is anything wrong with you or your baby needs a NICU stay, you are then going to have an extremely high medical bill if your insurance doesn't cover your pregnancy, which ours doesn't, which is just something that you cannot guarantee. Because our insurance was not valid for our maternity, we would just rather not have a £100,000 bill because our child needs 4 days in the NICU. Shoot me for being honest. Of course, that does mean like eligibility for certain things business-wise, and that's totally fine and something that we like have accepted throughout this pregnancy with our choice to come back to the UK. The second thing is like ease of getting the birth certificate and passport. So because we're not married, getting the birth certificate in Dubai, a slightly longer process and would involve like a court trip. I can't be massively asked for that. And then obviously getting the passport, it would have to be sent over from the UK, and I don't know how straightforward or quick of a process that is. Whereas here we can get the birth certificate as anyone would because we are British citizens. That's definitely easier. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on actually is, I won't say where my care was, but when I'd had a little appointment with a midwife, they had like these drop-in sessions. She actually said to me that her and her colleagues would choose to come back to the UK to give birth too. The hospital that I chose did replicate English care and it was extremely good, but she was explaining that because everything is consultant led, like I had the same consultant for my appointments, and if I'd have given birth in Dubai, he would have also delivered my child. I would basically ring him when I went into labour. No matter if he'd had a whole day of clinics, he would then have to come in at any time of night to help me deliver. The problem with that is that intervention rates are then really high because apparently there's kind of a lot more pressure to fit your birth in around their schedule. And doing my own research, there are a couple of horror stories of people who have had interventions at birth when it was kind of unnecessary, more so to fit around the consultant's schedule. Like they might say to you, right, so something wrong with the baby, we need to get you induced, whereby actually everything was totally fine. She also said because you're paying for the care, you are getting a lot of investigations. And sometimes it can flag things that don't necessarily even need to be flagged. For example, I got tested for gestational diabetes, whereas I wouldn't have met the criteria for that in the UK. So like I could have had a pregnancy that I was kind of none the wiser. I don't have gestational diabetes, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying about could potentially flag things that actually were just totally fine and could have just been left alone. That was very interesting to hear that the midwives there would also choose to return back to the UK upon having kids. I thought that was really, really interesting. So yeah, I'm 31.5 weeks now. So we've got, what, 8.5 weeks left should I go to full term, or potentially longer if I'm overdue. I think I'm going to do 2 more sit down videos just reflecting on my first trimester, which was hell, and maybe my second trimester. I also put like a question box out on my Instagram ages ago, and I got loads of questions about pregnancy, so I might put another one up and then just condense the questions together. And I just want to take you along, like getting set up for the baby now, maybe going shopping, got in my hospital bag, and hopefully also record the birth. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, like, do whatever you need to, and hopefully you come back for more. Cheers.